The headlines. Grudges and situations from the wars emerge as the pandemic rages on. Community pantry, a pantry for everyone. Kabutihan sa kasagsagan ng pandemya. Filipino stars advocate for the Sinovac and AstraZeneca vaccines.
Times Network, your totally accurate news source.
Good morning, Philippines. My name is David Batchar, and this is Times Network, your totally accurate news source, giving you nothing but the truth with no bias. And for the details of our news. Grudges and situations from the war begin to emerge as the pandemic rages on. As the pandemic rages on, grudges and situations from the war begin to show their heads in today's society. For more on this topic, we have Mariela Sanchez.
World War I started in 1914 and ended in 1918, and was shortly followed by World War II in the year 1939 to 1945. Both wars impacted the world in different ways, both being positive and negative. These wars led to technological advancements while also creating prejudice amongst the different nations. Though today's society is more accepting in different nations and cultures, and has let bygones be bygones, there are still instances where the wounds inflicted by the previous wars have yet to heal. Take, for example, the incident with the controversial tattoo of Bella Poarch, who is a TikTok star with Filipino ethnicity, which started a huge fight on the internet between Filipinos and Koreans. Earlier in the year 2020, a huge internet drama started when a certain tattoo of TikTok star Bella Poarch was seen in one of her videos. The tattoo, which was an image of a heart with the rays of the sun surrounding it, started a big fight on the internet. The tattoo, though looked innocent enough, it in a way somewhat showed similarities to the Japanese rising sun, which enraged Korean viewers. This rage stemmed from the fact that the rising sun flag was used by Imperial Japan in World War II when they started to colonize Asian countries, one of them being Korea. This simple misunderstanding started a whole Twitter drama, with Koreans bashing Filipinos and started bursting out insults such as uneducated. The Filipinos then retaliated with the hashtag Cancel Korea. According to popbuzz.com, Bella Poarch has apologized for her controversial rising sun tattoo. The rising sun that was deemed offensive by many Koreans who saw it as a symbol of Japanese militarism and the colonial rule. Bella apologized on Twitter saying, quote, "At that time I didn't know the history, but when I found out, I immediately had it covered and scheduled for removal. I am ashamed of myself for not doing my research. I sincerely apologize." With that apology, the whole issue slowly started to die down. Though nothing major happened, it mirrors our society's current situations, with having people who no longer look back at the past, and people who still hold a grudge. With these conflicting factors, it begs the questions: will our society ever really find peace with each other? On another note, situations during the world wars are starting to emerge at the height of pandemic. During the world wars, different problematic situations emerged as the world began to end, with different countries fighting each other. Food shortages, mass death, different establishments shutting down, and being forced to stay indoors are just some wartime situations that are now beginning to peer their heads out while the coronavirus rages on. Situations similar to what have happened during both world wars has begun to show themselves as the pandemic reaches its peak. Shortages caused by the panic buying, mass death due to the virus, curfew being made due to the community quarantine, and establishments being closed as they go bankrupt because the dwindling populations of customers. Without exaggerations, today's situations could be called a war of the world, with every sections of the earth touched by the virus instead of the world fighting against each others. We are now pinned down by the force of nature. Back to you, David.
Community pantry, a pantry for everyone. At the heights of the pandemic, Filipinos helped their fellow countrymen by the means of the community pantry. For more on this topic, we have Daniel Malikdam.
A part of the Philippines' way of coping with this pandemic, the innate attribute of the Filipinos Bayanihan has been reborn once again, not only in major parts of the country, but it also became very accessible to all citizens, even in rural areas, with the theme, Kumuha ayon sa pangangailangan, magbigay ayon sa kakayahan. Of course, sanitation and order were reinforced during the getting and giving of foods and other essential needs. Basic needs such as rice, eggs, vegetables, fruits, and canned goods were the main contents of the pantry. Others can get what they think they need and can also give what is abundant to them. The leaders of each pantry make sure that it covers the essential needs. No matter how small or big the pantry is, the most important is that it is accessible for all. Since the main focus in the pantry is not just to assist in food distribution and help in giving proper nutrition to all, especially to children and elders who really need it during these trying times, the nutrition in its cheapest way became accessible to all and for all. Nutrition from fruit and vegetable crops were given by farmers who volunteered to give even in their simplest but significant way. Necessary vitamins and minerals were shared. Proteins from eggs and other sources were also there. Basic energy giver foods, such as rice and root crops, were also present. Seems like what they have in abundance is lacking to some, thus by sharing it to the pantry and getting what they need, the distribution becomes better. Again, kumuha ayon sa pangangailangan, magbigay ayon sa kakayahan, is the invitation. Big or small, simple or extravagant, when shared can give us a domino effect. It can help us in learning contentment and avoid greediness. It can also develop our capacity to love and appreciate others equally, as we love ourselves. The Bayanihan is not yet dead and will never be for the Filipinos, because that is who we are and that is what we are made of.
Kabutihan sa kasagsagan ng pandemya. Sa kasagsagan ng pandemyang COVID-19, maraming mga Pilipino ang tumulong upang mapaganang pasanin ng ating mga kababayan na pinakanapektuhan sa ating kasalukuyang sitwasyon. Para sa balitang ito, Mariela Sanchez.
Dahil sa pandemyang ito, isa sa paraan ng gobyerno ay masagawa ng lockdown para maiwasan kumalat ang sakit ng COVID-19. Maraming establishmento o ahensya ang pansamantalang nagsara. Maraming tao ang nawalan ng trabaho. Marami ay nagkasakit at namatay. Ang ating gobyerno ay nagbibigay ng suporta pero hindi sapat sa pangailangan ng lahat. Isang katangian ng Pilipino ay pagiging maawain at mapagbigay. Kaya ang ibang mamayan na may kakayan na tumulong ay nakaisip na maisagawa ng community pantry. Gaya ng halimbawa na si Patricia Noon, residente ng Quezon City, na pansamantalang isara ang kanyang maliit na negosyo dahil sa serya ng mga lockdown sa Metro Manila. Si Patricia noon ay nagplano na tumulong sa kapwa sa pamagitan ng community pantry. Ito ay isang paraan para makatulong sa mamayan at mahalin tulad sa bayanihan. Ang mga iba't ibang lungsod at barangay ay ginawa na rin ang community pantry, kung saan pwedeng magbigay ng donasyon ang mga residente. Ang community pantry ay mayroong tagline na magbigay ayon sa kakayahan, kumuha batay sa pangailangan. Ang isang kilos na ito ay pinuri ng Malacanang at sinabi na ito ay isang halimbawa ng bayanihan spirit. Madaming aral ang binigay ng community pantry na may ugnay sa isa sa mga obrang maestrang Filipino na Florante at Laura. Kagaya ng anumang pagsubok o suliranin natin sa buhay ay bumangon at patuloy na lumaban. Pagmamahal sa bayan, tumulong sa nangailangan na walang hinihing kapalit. Kagaya na si Patricia noon ay tumulong sa mga taong nangailangan sa munting paraan. Ito rin ay naging daan upang ang mga tao ay magkaisa at patuloy na pagbibigay pag-asa sa munting paraan.
Dance Network, your totally accurate news source, will be right back. Hi, my name is David Bachar, and you may be wondering, what is this diverse amount of food right in front of you? Well, let me tell you. Now, what I have here for you today is a community pantry. Now a community pantry is a community effort in which members of the community will donate things like food in order to help the other people who are struck hard by this current situation.
Look at this graph. It shows an example of when more people started to need more goods. This graph shows X equals the family who donated and Y equals the people who helped. For example, in one barangay, 8 families donated and it helped 12 people. While in another barangay, 5 families donated, while 14 people were helped. If this graph is correct, the total will come up to negative 2/3.
So with those results, what are you waiting for?
At the start of the coronavirus, I was hit hard and had to worry about how am I going to get food. But because of the community pantry, it made the burden I carried a lot lighter.
Donate now and help your fellow citizens. Dance Network, your totally accurate news source, is back. Ending on a lighter note, Filipino stars advocate for the Sinovac and AstraZeneca vaccines. Due to a heavy amount of skeptics, different Filipino stars voice their opinions about the different vaccines. For the showbiz news, we have Daniel Malikdom.
For this day's showbiz news, I am Daniel Malikdam, and today is definitely a great day. Filipino stars took to the internet, tweeting and releasing videos advocating strongly for the vaccines AstraZeneca and Sinovac. With people hesitant of taking the new COVID vaccines because of previous incidents like the Dengvasia vaccine, Filipino stars took to the internet and shared their thoughts on the topic. For example, a recent tweet of Maria Asuncion, a veteran actress famous for roles in Pag Kumagat ang Dilim and Wag Kang Hihinga, said, quote, I don't know why people are worried of taking the vaccines. Guys, the vaccines have gone through rigorous testing, and that's why it's completely safe. If people start to take the vaccines, we will be out of this pandemic in no time. Another famous actress, Josefa Stephen, who has done her own research regarding the virus, voiced out her thoughts on YouTube and is steadily garnering millions of views to this day.
Good morning to all of you. Welcome back to my channel. And due to previous situations, a certain distrust grew because the things like the vaccines, like Dengvasia, which led to many people being, let's say, skeptical or wary of taking the things like vaccines. But guys, today's situation is completely different. I mean, Biospace.com even says that the efficacy of the Sinovac vaccine is 91.25%, while the efficacy of AstraZeneca is 70%. I mean, guys, with these results, is there still a need to worry?
And for the final segment, we have Christian Ferrerat, one of the most well-known directors of this time, who is at home live on a video call to voice his thoughts on the vaccines.
So hi again to the Dance Network and to all its viewers. First and foremost, I would like to say thank you. Thank you again for having me. So with the recent situation with the vaccine getting a lot of skeptics, I believe that taking the vaccine will be a little bit of a no-brainer. First of all, I would like to say that yes, I understand the people's skepticism, but with all the research being released assuring us that it will be safe, I feel like the skepticism is a little bit, unnecessary. I mean, the Oxford already released a formal statement saying that the analysis from the UK trials and Brazil had already demonstrated an efficacy of up to 90%. The vaccine was effective at preventing the COVID-19. With that reassuring statement, I firmly believe that we should all rest easy when taking the vaccine. That is all. I'm Christian Ferrerat, and thank you very much.
And those were our top stories of the day. Dance Network, giving you nothing but the truth with no bias. Dance Network, your totally accurate news source bids you farewell.